opportunity and the growth is just insane. It could change an average person's life if they could understand that and have some bets in this area. And this is just a marketplace that's just beginning. It's a pioneering place, but you're incredibly well positioned because you have these really large players that want to play with you. But you, like you said, all these companies that are starting to grow, we're at the beginning of this process. And you really placed yourself in the lead by with the technology you develop. I really acknowledge you and respect you, brother. Thank you for that. So to finish this all off, let's come back to you, Dakin. So many beautiful lessons here from people really living it, not people just talking about it. But tell me, just to wrap up, part of why we're all here is because of our relationship and what the people you've attracted in Prime Movers Lab, and I brought you a couple as well. Tell me, what you really found this company for? What were you looking for? And maybe a touch a little bit about, angel investor work. Not everybody's familiar with it. And what are the opportunities and what are the challenges with angel investment as a whole for people that have been hearing about these companies so they have an understanding of how you started out and what people can build with?
Yeah, I mean, our mission boils down to investing in breakthrough science that can transform billions of lives. And I think these are 3 of the 15 companies that we invested in Fund 1. And we've got another 30 in Fund 2. So it's a good mix across many, many different areas. And really the mission is how do we make people's lives better? And it starts at a micro level. How do we make these entrepreneurs successful? How do we make them enjoy the process of building these companies, which translates to the kind of huge impacts we're hearing on a civilization-wide level. From an angel investing perspective, yeah, I mean, you teach people kind of at Business Mastery that it's important to have investments in uncorrelated assets. And early stage private companies are extremely high risk, but also extremely high reward. And it's an important part of a sophisticated investor's portfolio. This is not for somebody who's got $1 million or something total of savings. This is many millions or even tens of millions of dollars of savings at the point which you can really afford to cut big enough investments into early stage startups that it makes sense to be investing in them and building a diversified basket. Because the mistake people make here is they'll just invest in one company because it's their friend's company, and that's a good starting point, but you need to have a well-diversified portfolio even within your startup investing. So that's why, using Ray Dalio's principle of 15 uncorrelated bets gives you an 80% reduction in risk with an increase in upside. We've got a number of different companies because, at the end of the day, every single idea, I mean, we hear thousands of ideas a year. Every single one of them is actually a good idea and is going to happen at some point. The question is when. And we're not going to be right on every single bet that we make, but because we're making timing bets across a wide range of areas, energy, transportation, infrastructure, manufacturing, we'll be right on a couple, and those couple drive all of the returns for early stage investing. So if you look at my personal angel portfolio, it's up 17x over the last 7 years. And there's basically 2 companies out of a portfolio of more than a dozen that drive all of those returns. And that's how it always looks in venture capital. It is power law returns where it doesn't matter what the 14 other of the 15 companies do. It matters, is the top one a 50x, is it 100x, is it 250x, is it 1000x? And we're really fortunate because of the great work that Bill and Mikhail and Jason and Lou and Maymay at Kovacs are doing, that we've got a number of them that are well up there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And what you just said, I shared that with you a while ago from listening to Ray Dalio. I was actually at a conference. It was, you got to be a billionaire to be there. It's a pretty interesting conference. It was by JP Morgan. And when he said that, someone asked him a question, because I've been asking questions about non-correlated assets, meaning for those who are unfamiliar, everything ties to what the stock market does, and the stock market goes down, everything goes down, right? So you want things that are not correlated. And when he came up with that statistic, there was a murmur in the room. It was such an interesting piece that you could increase your return while reducing your risk by having those uncorrelated assets at that ratio. It's pretty invaluable. So to finish this off, what do you want people to know about what it means to be an entrepreneur? What do you want people to know about what it means to work on things that can change the world? I want to finish the last word from you, Dick.
I think we're heading towards a world in which many people are going to be entrepreneurs. Most people are going to be entrepreneurs. And really, we're going to be playing the game of work for the fun of it and the joy of it and what we can create for other people, not because we need to. And that's a beautiful and exciting thing. And that's where worlds both externally and internally open up when we have that kind of freedom to work on the things that are most meaningful to us. So I'm glad that I get to work with entrepreneurs who are so inspiring and exciting. And I hope that everyone takes a step on that journey in whatever form it takes for them.
Well, for all those that are still with us, I hope that what you got from this, my goal in doing this was to maybe create a moment of excitement in you where you think about the future in a different way, where you don't just listen to the news, which every day is droning on, and it has an agenda. Its agenda is not a harsh one. It's just an agenda that there's an economics to that news, unfortunately. And so good ideas rarely interrupt you. They have to be pursued. You have to look for them. So our goal here is to put you in front of those tools that can give you a greater sense of what's happening in the world, both so you can be a first mover yourself and perhaps make use of those things that are valuable for you. Secondly, we all need to become investors. You can use an Apple phone or you can own part of Apple. I mean, the reason so many people suffer financially is not because the opportunity isn't there, and it's not because they don't earn enough money. It's because they're consumers, they're not owners. And if there's anything I hope this will get you to do is to think about the future in a new way that excites you, to get you through the temporary ups and downs of issues like COVID or racism. They're all real issues, but there's nothing humanity has created that humanity can't solve, as we've already said. But also, if you want to participate in helping those people that are working on the cutting edge of increasing the quality of life for all people, you can become an owner with them and you can prosper as they prosper in helping millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or perhaps billions of people. So hope this has been inspiring for you. And if you're an entrepreneur, I hope you've listened to some of the great lessons that these entrepreneurs have given us by taking a couple hours of their time to just share from the heart what they've learned. So I want to thank you, Bill Gross, the most successful entrepreneur in growing companies from nothing to over $1 billion. He's already got 7. No one's done that. If you're listening, it looks like he's got his 8th and 9th and maybe 10th one on the way. Mikhail, for what you're doing to open up space. Jason, for what you're doing to help us and make Brooklyn a farming environment, but any place be a farming environment with both, as you said, not only cheaper costs and better nutrients, but delicious. And Dakin, for your incredible pioneering efforts to pull together such great entrepreneurs. It's been a pleasure to spend time with all of you again. I love you, I respect you, and for all of you at home, thank you for joining us again for the Tony Robbins Podcast. Till we see you soon, live strong, live with passion, and God bless.
The Tony Robbins Podcast is directed by Tony Robbins and produced by the Tony Robbins team. Copyright Robbins Research International.